Hello folks, and welcome to one more edition of Travel Insights with veterans of the travel trade. We have with us today a very popular face in the industry, someone who's very well known across the country, Rajeev Nangia, the Chief Operating Officer of Trac Representations India, one of the leading representation companies in India, and Rajeev has been their CEO, and that is precisely why, like I said, he's very popular, very well known, a very approachable and friendly gentleman. Rajeev has been with the travel and hospitality industry since 1988. That's like a good 30 plus years. And during these years, he's been representing national tourism organizations and witnessed many crisis situations. These circumstances have made him develop practical strategies to ensure that the destination experience is impacted to the minimum as far as tourist arrivals are concerned. Trac Representations as a company and as a result, Rajeev himself are closely involved in promoting destinations like Monaco, Abu Dhabi. They also work with Kenya, Spain, and Sri Lanka on an assignment kind of basis. And of late, they've added to their portfolio the SHIVARAJ residency, which are very high-end residential apartments in London. And I'm sure Rajeev and team will obviously make it a grand success. So welcome, Rajeev. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you, Amish. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Not at all. I would have loved to meet you personally and go ahead with this, but unfortunately during these COVID times, we've got to do this like this.
No, it's
I'll
quite.
Get down to the first question, which we always ask our, travel experts, travel veterans. Tell us about your past, these last 20 plus years, and your journey in the travel industry so far.
So, I started as a very junior level in Hyatt Regency Delhi, and that was my training ground. And I was lucky to have a lot of good people who actually mentored me. And then one day, I met Mr. Kavighai, and we started discussing, and this whole proposition of Trac came up. And without knowing much, actually, I can say with my eyes closed almost, I jumped into this side of the business from hospitality. And rest is a history. Then Trac representation came into focus, and we have worked with over 20 destinations in the past years. And we have established most of them very well in the Indian market.
Yes, of course, I'm aware. I think Abu Dhabi has been with you for a long time, and always been very, very happy with Trac, I guess.
Yeah.
But tell me, how do you think the industry has evolved over the years, over these past 20 plus years, in terms of tourism trends, in terms of consumer preferences, consumer behavior, and also the travel agents, how they have adapted to the whole thing?
Yeah. So when we started in 90s, there was a very big, situation where travel was, especially outbound travel, had a lot of restrictions. Your foreign exchange was limited. It was $300 or $500 per year or 2 years, and things like that. So from there to today, where you have n number of dollars to your disposal, it has come a long way from a licensed Raj to total, openness. Also, I think earlier, from travel industry perspective, agent was very, very important component at that point of time. The whole supply chain was important. Today, I think over the period, it is demand which has taken over supply chain. So from only servicing travel agent when we started, now we also need to look at how to create demand and to service him back. So earlier he was generating business for us. Now we have to ensure that he is getting demand so he can cater to that and service them. So it is not that he's not important anymore. He's very important and critical part of travel business, but his role has changed over a period. That is what I've seen very over the period. That's something which is very precise.
When you're representing a particular country as a representation company, who does the strategizing? Is the strategizing for your market done by you, or does it come from the tourism board, from their local offices, like say Abu Dhabi sends it to you? And how do you address the strategies on how to go after the market?
Hiring any representation company basically is to get know-how of how to go about in the Indian market or whichever market it belongs to. We are on ground and we have more information than anybody sitting outside the country. We are also used to the culture and the way it functions. From that perspective, there can be an overall international strategy, but that needs adaptation to the market. And that is where the representation role comes into play. And it depends upon your insight and your linkages, how you adopt that overall strategy into your market. Most of these strategies have to be processed, I will say, rather than developed only.
So it's an ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process.
Changing. So now coming back to those young travelers which you were talking about, millennial travelers. Things are changing a lot since they have come into the picture, considering that they have so much knowledge of the destination even before they step into your office to talk to you about it. How do you think this whole thing has changed the way we look at the customer, how they've started traveling, and how do you cater to their ever-changing needs and their aspirations of this young crowd which is looking to travel?
See, I have a very different view on this, actually. I mean, I have a suggestion to make to most of my travel agent friends. First, I think they need to get rid of this nomenclature of agent. Agent sounds as if you are working on commission only. Whereas you have plethora of knowledge, you have plethora of connections, you have plethora of information which you can share with these guys. So I feel that you should start calling yourself to start with as travel consultants and specialize in particular areas rather than being master of all, know of all and master of none. So I personally feel that slowly and steadily the time is coming when you will feel the need for this, and the more focused you will become on destinations or on products or on certain areas, so that differentiation you will bring to table. Now I can know, okay, this hotel is good, but I don't know that hotel may be very far away from the center sometime. I may have seen it on the Google and it says, oh, there's a market 5 minutes away, but that's a small local market. So like this, we need to come into perspective. Having said that, the business needs are changing. More and more, I think destinations as well as products are going online. Is a plethora of gold which he's sitting on, and he needs to recapitalize that, I think. And it will not be easy job, but it can only start with small differences. Like COVID has taught us to use technology very effectively. I mean, one of the plus point which has come out of COVID is use of technology. I mean, otherwise we would have waited for this interview, I don't know, when we would have met in Bangalore, and then it would have happened. And it's happening, me sitting in Delhi and you sitting in Bangalore or wherever. This technology now needs to be implemented with our clients also. I mean, instead of him walking into your office or anywhere, you need to just take him online and spend your time very meticulously with him. So those kind of things have to be, I think, inculcated in a day-to-day routine of business.
So these kind of changes happening where technology, which all this while agents have been saying is almost like a competitor because people get to know about rates, etc. Now we can use it to our advantage to this extent.
Absolutely.
Just to add up to, earlier you mentioned that travel agents should not call themselves agents, they should call themselves advisors. Given the current situation, with COVID-19 and the way it has affected the whole world, do you think that travel agents or travel advisors will become more important in the entire scheme of things, considering that they should be the people having more knowledge of the destination? They obviously do, and they will obviously be in touch with the right people. So do you see a resurgence in the trade as such? Do you think people will go back to the brick and mortar agent to discuss things with them and get more confident of the destination?
See, this is something which is very tricky and very complicated to be answered in yes and no. But what I feel is that brick and mortar will stay. It is not going to go away. You may be using certain other tools to communicate or use technology in a different way, but I mean at the end even online agency is sitting in some brick and mortar kind of situation, and most of the Indian online agencies are in hybrid model. I mean they have call centers and they have actual conversion is happening probably in a store. So where packages are concerned and where outbound leisure tourism or MICE is concerned, I think brick and mortar is here to stay and will stay. But where it is only ticketing is concerned or a hotel booking, it has already moved. A lot of percentage has already moved online, and that you cannot reverse.
And I don't think that has affected the trade. In fact, there's been a kind of a cleanup of the trade probably.
Yeah.
Now coming to that part, the part which is really hurting all of us. With the extended effect of the coronavirus on the travel industry, what do you feel is the future of the industry?
See, I have always maintained, and I have mentioned this in one of my notes also, that human nature instinct is to travel. I mean, when a child is born, his first travel journey is when he takes his first 7 steps in the house itself. That's also travel for him from one end to another end. And similarly, when we grow up, we start traveling, whether we are traveling by cycle, we are traveling by foot, or we are traveling by bus or aircraft or whatever. So it's a human instinct and nobody can compress this. I am of the opinion the day restrictions are lifted, India will be one of the first countries to bounce back, and how.
Wow.
I am of this opinion, and I am quite sure that travel agents need to have patience. We will grow together and we will thrive like never before.
That's great to hear, Rajeev. So nice to hear that. Would you make changes in the way you sell your destinations? Would there be more of a stress on telling clients that hygiene and sanitization are very important parts of the way
the way I am looking at it, I think is a way forward where we will be informing them what steps have been taken in our destinations. But there is still time to start that whole process. But once we start that, I think we have educated. Education will be the key.
Yeah.
Educating about destination, how you have to handle that is the key. And I think that will be focused both on trade as well as on consumers. We need to bring our partners also into know how we are handling it.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot more stress on educating the partners on what steps are being taken by each of the destinations, so that we can pass it on to the customer.
To the customer, and also we will be passing on to customer also.
Yeah,
so I think it will be both. We'll be running parallel with you.
Yes, that's right. So again, now in terms of the effect of COVID, again coming back to Monaco and Abu Dhabi, like I said earlier, both are very strong MICE destinations. Abu Dhabi is also very popular for Indian weddings. Do you think that vertical of the business will get hit because of this?
Yeah, initially, yes. Initially, I don't know what the norms will be, how big weddings will be allowed or not allowed. But I think it is a matter of time. Like I said, we need to have little patience. And with time, I think everything will be back to how it is. I mean, nobody would like to have wedding with face masks, on. Eventually, you will have some protocols which will be put together. I mean, this is a phase which will have to pass. It cannot live forever. So I'm quite positive. I see early recovery from India in 2021, very honestly. This season, of course, we have lost badly. So we don't need to fear about these numbers today. But I think as we go forward, India is one of the potential markets which will really bounce back fast. We as an economy have been saving for rainy days. And these are the rainy days. So when will it come handy? My thought process says that your first tourism activity will be a outing within your city. Maybe a dinner with your family, maybe going out to some local place or visiting even a mall, when they open up. So that will be in itself a confidence building exercise. That is how I look at it. And maybe after twice you will say, okay, let's take a road trip to some close by destination and let's stay at hotel. So it will be a gradual process, starting with domestic only and then going up to international.
So, like you said, domestic tourism is now something which one can look at least for the next 6 to 8 months.
I don't know whether travel agents will play a bigger role in there. Mm-hmm. Because, these are things which people will book on their own because they know something and they are confident of that.
What about inbound? Do you think, inbound tourism into India, do you think there could be a build-up over there? So, obviously not now, but after about a year or so?
Yeah, it will be because, if we look at the Indian numbers and how we handle the situation as we go further, I think Indian numbers are very within, if you compare it with other countries, we are still in a very good state. And also, the sooner we get rid of this whole process and what kind of sanitization process we adopt post-COVID or, once we relax the norms, then I think there is a possibility of inbound also picking up, though I'm not an expert of inbound, but I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With your experience, you can tell.
Yeah.
So Rajeev, it's great. Your optimism is something fantastic. And I think the whole industry needs to learn from you that these are just slightly tough times, but we're going to come out of it.
Yeah, we need to be patient. I always say that we need to be patient and then come out victorious.
So now, before we end, Rajeev, you've been around for 20 years. You know everything about the travel industry within India. One change that you would like to see, okay, not necessarily one change. What changes would you like to see in the travel industry in the years ahead?
So I personally feel that now COVID has exposed us to use of technology very well. It is not only via conferencing, but a lot of people are using a lot of CRMs. They are using various, which earlier were there or not there, I'm not very sure, but a lot of companies didn't use CRM to its potential. I think this is 45 days or 50 days we have been in lockdown. I hope some of the travel partners have used that to effectively to put their data into those CRMs, and they'll be making use of it in future. So I personally feel that adopt the tools which you have learnt over the period of time, and in case you think you have not done enough, then time has not gone anywhere. You still have time. So learn to use these tools. Most of these tools are available for ridiculous price. It is probably less than you pay to one staff member of your office. Right. But this will help you in remaining connected with your clients. It will help you in sustaining them in future. So invest in, I will not say invest is a wrong word, but to create the knowledge about what tools are best suited for you and your business. Your knowledge should be available at fingertips to you also.
Right.
You should be able to make presentations. You should be able to talk about your destination, what points you are going to tell him. I mean, those kind of homework, it's the time when agent needs to put in place to become advisor and to become then consultant.
So your advice is to adopt technology to the maximum possible. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. You of course mentioned that technology and meetings on video conference, etc. I hope that you don't make that a norm with us and we get to meet you.
No, we will. We'll definitely get to meet.
Thank you, Rajeev. Thank you so much for being with us today. And for our viewers, we hope you liked the show today. And if you liked it, please don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, take care, stay safe. Bye.